When you stop chasing results, that's when the results start showing up. This matters because the energy you bring into your business sets the tone for everything that follows. When you're in get energy, business starts to feel heavy and transactional. You start measuring your worth by your results, like how many likes or how many clients or how much revenue you have. And when your worth is measured by results, that's an exhausting way to live and run your business. You will absolutely burn out and it will not be fun, I promise. Welcome to How to Quit Your Job, the podcast for moms ready to ditch the 9-to-5 and build a life and business they love. I'm your host, Jenna Reichel. Let's go. Hi, mom friends. I hope we are all enjoying this lovely sweater weather that's among us. Well, most of us, I guess. And I hope that your family walks around the neighborhood have become much more entertaining with all of the Halloween decorations around. Today, we're talking about one of the simplest and most powerful mindset shifts that you can make in your business, moving from get energy to give energy. When you're in get energy, you're focused on the outcome, right? You're focused on the sale, the sign up, the validation, the engagement. Everything feels pressured and tight, and it's hard to not take things personal when they don't go your way. But when you shift into give energy, something changes in your body. Your shoulders relax, your breathing slows, you stop worrying about doing it right, and you're able to focus on the person that you're serving. And from that place, your actions feel lighter and easier and, ironically, more effective. Even if you have a product-based business, you're still serving people. You're still creating something that's designed to make someone's life better. So let's start with what get energy really looks like. Let's say you go to a networking event and you spend the entire time thinking about who might hire you. Everyone's introducing themselves and you're thinking, oh, that person could possibly hire me, or that person is not in my niche. And you're sort of focusing on picking and choosing who are the people worth talking to. That's one way. Maybe you send an email, and while you're writing the email, you're really hoping that it'll convert into a discovery call. So you're sending an email to somebody who your cousin connected you with. And as you're writing it, you're putting in your discovery call scheduling link, and you're really hoping that that person will schedule. Or maybe you post on Instagram and every hour you're checking to see how it's performing. Are people liking it? Are people engaging and commenting? And when you don't get the result you wanted, you start spiraling. Okay, you start thinking things like, this isn't working, no one's interested, I don't know what I'm doing, I should just give up. And those thoughts create so many negative feelings. We might feel embarrassed or anxious. There's probably a lot of self-doubt and self-criticism. And when you feel that way while you're working in your business, it's really hard to want to show up at all. So you might avoid your business altogether. You stop posting, or you convince yourself that it's not worth the effort. I haven't signed a client from a single networking event, so why even go? Okay, you start to convince yourself of taking less action. And then it becomes this self-fulfilling cycle. The harder you try to get, the worse you feel. And then the less you actually receive. So let's talk about flipping it then. What does it look like to show up in give energy instead? So when you're in give energy, you're not thinking about outcomes, okay? You're not thinking about what can I get from this? You're only thinking about impact. You show up for yourself and your business curious, generous, and really grounded in service. So you walk into that networking event, and instead of wondering who might hire you, you focus on how you can make everyone in the room feel seen and heard. When you write an email, thinking about what the people on your list might need, or what that one person you're sending an email to might need to hear, then you're in service, right? It's like, what does this person need to hear today? You share a story on social media and it's not about engagement. It's about knowing that someone out there might need the reminder that you're not alone. These are all examples of how it shifts into give energy, what that feels like. And in give energy, you're not attached to what happens next. It is enough to give value. You just want to be of value. And honestly, people will feel that. Being of value and giving without strings attached or without wanting anything in return is magnetic. People want to hire that person. People want to learn more from that person. When you are desperate and in get energy, people feel that too, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But that repels people. Nobody wants to hire somebody who's desperate or who only wants something for themselves. I'll never forget a season early in my business where I had a slump. I hadn't signed a new client in about 2 months and I was deep in the spiral. Okay. I was questioning everything. I was avoiding my business and I was feeling super desperate. It's such a hard place to be. And I know for sure that every entrepreneur in the arena has been there. And one morning, I was listening to a business podcast, and the host talked about the power of networking. Okay. And I realized, wow, I haven't been to a single event in months. And of course, because that downward spiral had me not taking action in my business, which was then perpetuating the slump, which is how this all works. So I listened to this podcast. I felt motivated to sign up and attend a networking event that same week. I found a virtual one happening. And so I signed up. And it was interesting because this time, when I was taking action, I made a deal with myself. I wasn't going to go there and get anything. No agenda, no pressure. I just wanted to show up. I just wanted to go through the motions to start. But I decided that my goal was to make everyone in that room feel seen, heard, and like they belonged. If I had done that to the best of my ability, I was going to call it a success. And it's so interesting what happened. There was this moment when the host or the facilitator asked a question and everybody was answering. And then it was my turn. And I answered in a really vulnerable and honest way, much deeper than I normally would have, and also much deeper than anybody else answered the question. And it shifted the entire energy in the room. People started opening up. The conversation went from surface level networking and pleasantries to real deep connection. And after the event, 3 women reached out. One was a potential client, one wanted to collaborate in our businesses, and one just wanted to build a friendship. And I know that 100%, those people reaching out to me, none of that would have happened if I'd been in get energy when I entered that room. When I stopped trying to get a client and I just focused on giving value, everything opened up. This happens with my clients all the time too. So they'll come to me in our weekly sessions saying things like, I'm posting and emailing and showing up, but it feels like no one's listening, or it feels like I'm posting into the void, right? Or networking feels so awkward. I never know what to say. And I get it. When we're operating from get energy, everything starts to feel like a transaction, even when we don't mean to. Every post, every event, every conversation carries this invisible weight of our expectations. We're trying to get engagement, get a lead, get validation. And when those things don't happen, it starts to feel really personal and really bad, really disappointing, really deflating. We start to feel desperate, like I talked about before. But the minute we shift that focus to give energy, everything changes. So when I ask my clients, when they come to me saying those things, I ask, what would it look like to show up just to give today? If you just were trying to give as much value to these people and you were not connected to what you're going to get from it, how would your actions change? And every time they soften, they start thinking about who they want to help. They think about The mom who's sitting at her desk, exhausted from her 9 to 5, scrolling Instagram, looking for a sign that she's not crazy for wanting more. And when they write to her, that one person, or create for her, everything opens up. The words flow, creativity returns, the energy becomes magnetic. Okay. Because it's real, it's authentic. It's the why that I talked about a couple episodes ago. You're stepping into that energy of why you're doing it. And that's the thing about give energy. It's not only good for your audience, it's good for you. It helps you reconnect with why you started your business in the first place, which is 10 times out of 10 to help, to serve, and to make a difference. That's what everybody's business boils down to that I've ever worked with. And yes, we want flexibility and we want things for ourselves, but so much of our business is to be of service. And from that energy, results happen naturally. The clients will feel it. The potential clients will feel it. They will trust you. They're drawn to you because you're not trying to take anything, right? You're simply offering value. And when you stop chasing results, that's when the results start showing up. This matters because the energy you bring into your business sets the tone for everything that follows. When you're in get energy, business starts to feel heavy and transactional. You start measuring your worth by your results, like how many likes or how many clients or how much revenue you have. And when your worth is measured by results, that's an exhausting way to live and run your business. You will absolutely burn out and it will not be fun, I promise. But when you lead from this give energy or this energy of being in service to your people, your business becomes really an extension of who you are, right? As a generous, genuine human being who actually wants to help people. Okay. You stop asking, what can I get? Or did I get? Or how can I make this work so I get? Right. You stop asking those questions and you start asking, what can I contribute? What transformations can I give today? How can I help this person I'm sending an email to? How can I be of service? How can I bring more value into the world? And that shift changes the way that people experience you. It also changes the way that you experience you. Everything in business becomes easier when you tap back into being of service. People can feel your energy through your words, your tone, your presence. They can tell when you're attached to an outcome versus when you're genuinely there to help. When you're giving, you're not just servicing your audience, right? Like I said, you're also serving yourself. You're building confidence because you are acting in alignment with your values. You're reinforcing belief in your own value and capability. You're reminding yourself that you do have something to offer and you're having a lot more fun because when we're helping people, that's fun. When we're taking from people and when we're wondering what we're going to get out of things, that feels heavy. So when we say give energy, or when I say give energy feels good for everyone, it's not just a nice statement, it's truly a strategy. Stepping into give energy is a strategy for your business. It's sustainable, it keeps you out of burnout. It's what allows you to build a business that feels light and authentic and deeply connected. Okay, the kind of business that attracts the right people, not from pressure, but from purpose and from your why. In episode 73, I talk more about leading with your why in a different way. But if this resonates with you, if you're thinking, what is my why? I don't have a why, definitely check out that episode. You will love it. And it will be so helpful. But when we are connected to being of service and when we're connected to that purpose, people will feel that. You can't fake genuine care or curiosity. People will pick up on it instantly. Also, every client I've ever worked with feels a certain way about marketing and selling, and it's usually not excited. But being in service energy makes selling and marketing so much easier. So if you feel like there's so much tension when you sit down to create marketing material or when you have a consultation with a potential client, check back in to your energy. And I'll talk in just a minute about how to tap into service energy, like the practical steps. But make sure that you are doing this and recognizing if you're in get energy and you're worried about the outcome, or if you're in give energy and wanting to give a transformation through your marketing or give a transformation through your consultation. Because when you are in service energy and when you are in service, marketing isn't about convincing people, it's about helping them. And selling isn't about closing, it's about opening the door to transformation. And I talk about this a lot more in episode 14, how to make selling easier. So if this is a sticking point or if this resonates, definitely check out that episode next. So, as promised, how do we actually do this in our daily work? How do we shift from get energy to give energy? And it's simple, but simple doesn't mean easy. Okay. The first thing you want to do is simply notice when you're in get energy. You'll know because it feels pressured or anxious or desperate, or you are thinking a lot about the outcome. You're wondering if this is a waste of time. You're wondering if you're going to get any clients from that event. So, just the first thing to do is notice when you're in get energy. The second thing I want you to do is pause and show yourself self compassion. Okay. It's easy to judge ourselves. It's easy to feel bad and yucky that we are in get energy, especially when I call it out like I am in this episode. But it's so natural to fall into get energy. Of course, you want results from your actions. You have big dreams. It's so normal. So don't beat yourself up for finding yourself in get energy. Recognize that it is a natural part of entrepreneurship. We all do it, but it really doesn't serve us or our clients. So you notice it, you step into that self love, self compassion, no judgment. The third thing I want you to do is ask yourself, how can I give more value in this moment? How can I be of service? What would it look like to truly serve this person or these people or my audience in this moment? And I want you to just come up with some answers for yourself. What do my people need to hear right now for a transformation? What can I share so people feel connected? What can I talk about so that people feel seen? And then the next thing, the fourth step is to act with generosity. So when you're creating the email or the post, or you're showing up to that networking event, I want you to show up with the intention to give and to be of service and to offer as much value as possible, not to get. That energy, the giving without strings attached, feels good to you and to them. So, major takeaways that I want you to run with from this week's episode: when you're in get energy, everything will feel like a grind. So, if you feel like your business is a grind right now, I want you to be honest with yourself if you are stuck in a cycle of get energy. No judgments. I want you to just understand that about the effort you're putting in and whether you are just putting in so that you can get something out of your efforts. When you're in give energy, everything will feel like connection. And the beautiful, beautiful thing is that when you give first, you actually end up getting more joy, more ease, more clients or business. So the next time you find yourself obsessing over the result, because you absolutely will, it happens every single day for every single entrepreneur. So when you notice that about yourself, I want you to pause and ask, how can I be of service right now? How can I detach myself from the outcome and just focus on the impact? Because you have so much value to give right now, exactly as you are, with exactly what you know. So share that with people and please, please, please see how good it feels. Okay, let's talk about taking action this week. You know, on this podcast, there's always a call to action for you to move your business forward. Okay, first and foremost, start noticing and finding moments that you can shift into give energy more often when you're taking action in your business. There's so many ways that we talk about taking action in your business. And what I'll say is it's not enough to just take the action. I want you to take the action with the energy of how can I be of service? Okay, incorporate those steps that I shared and create and take action with that give energy. Another action item that might resonate, I want you to check out episode 14 and 73 if you want to go deeper into some of these concepts. Okay, you can get all the links for those episodes and more in the show notes. You can go to jenna.coach/76. There's also the transcript for every episode in the show notes. That's a really nice way to potentially print out and highlight or copy and paste some of the questions that I go through so you can have them written down and you can have them close by or maybe on a post-it note for when you are questioning yourself and getting out of get energy. You might want to have some of those questions close by. I also want to encourage you to take a closer look at your business and how you feel when you're in the work in the business. If it's a grind, if you're realizing that you've been trying to start or build your business from get energy, you're feeling pressured and anxious or unsure where to focus or feel like nothing's working because you're not getting anything out of your actions, I would love to help you shift from get energy to give energy. I encourage you, if you're struggling with this concept, or maybe if you test it out for a week and you still find yourself living in the land of get energy, schedule a free 1 hour consultation. We'll talk about what doesn't feel good right now when you're taking action in your business. We'll talk about what's keeping you stuck and how to move forward in a way that feels aligned and joyful and in service to your people. You can find that scheduling link in the show notes with everything else. And I promise this one shift from get energy to give energy will make all the difference in you feeling energized to show up. Make sure you follow the podcast so you have weekly strategies and insights on how to keep going and build a business and life that you never thought possible. Okay? Tap into that give energy, and I will see you next week.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Of How to Quit Your Job,
a mom's guide to creating a life and business you love.
If you want to learn more about how I can help you stop making excuses and start making moves, head on over to www.jenna.coach. I'll see you next week.